What's up, peeps? I'm back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Bentz, and thank you so much for joining us for the YouTube edition of the AEW Insider. This show mostly is about, WWE this week, actually, because it's a big weekend. We do have NXT TakeOver tonight, and then we do have Survivor Series tomorrow with the NXT invasion going on. So I do have the cards and my predictions for those matches, but plus I got a lot of other good wrestling news. What Jim Cornette has to say about his racial comments, Kenny Omega stuff, people who want to leave WWE, and more. So let's get to the show. AEW. Kenny Omega talked about one spot in his match with Moxley that he regrets. He said, "I'm talking about the spot when I went to do a Phoenix Splash on the exposed ring and hit straight on the floorboards." He elaborated further and said, "It was one of the worst bumps I've ever taken in my life. I'm telling you, a lot of people said that whatever, the ring has a spring in it. It's no different than bumping on the mat itself. No, it was terrible. I think the mat was folded over and that's where my hands were. So I couldn't quite get my hands to brace the fall. Pretty much my face came and broke all of it." So just like Cody Rhodes, who couldn't get his hand up the same night, both of them just took the landings right on their face, which is very dangerous. A fan brought a sign that said, "Suck it, Vince," to AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night. He was like in the third row. He showed it off all night. It was a pretty big sign. When they went off air, they showed the sign on the Titantron while Cody was in the ring talking, and he did address it. He said, "I cannot say anything. I think the sign says it all." Rhodes responds without mentioning Vince by name. Cody then snaps a selfie with the crowd and the sign before making his way backstage. All right, WWE news. NXT War Games predictions. I have to say, I love NXT War Games. Ever since they started doing it years ago, it has been the best pay-per-view to me of NXT of the year and one of the best of the year overall together. Those matches are awesome, especially with the Undisputed up in it. It's the fucking bomb. But on the pre-show, from what I hear, because I always get these, the cards wrong. I'm always missing a match or two. On the pre-show, we do have Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Angel Garza. Trust me, I followed Swerve on the independent scene, and that guy is going to be huge. But I do got to get a win to Garza. On the main show, we do have the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne versus Damon Priest versus Killian Dane in a triple threat #1 contenders match. My pick, Killian Dane. I would like to pick Damon Priest because I followed him in Ring of Honor, but he's not ready yet. Pete Dunne doesn't need it. He was the NXT UK champ for like fucking 3 years. And Killian Dane, they've been pushing, and he's been a beast since his return to NXT. So I got to go with Killian Dane. We also have Finn Balor, the real rock and roller, versus Matt Riddle. Got to go with Balor, and I predict that he's going to premiere a new member or members of his NXT Bullet Club. He's got to get the squad started, and they got to come out and help him if it isn't the OC with AJ. But Balor will win that match. Men's War Games. We do have the whole Undisputed Era versus Thomas Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominic Dijovic, and another member to be announced. I got to go with Undisputed. Even though they won War Games definitely once, they might have won it twice, or at least Adam Cole was in it, won it twice. They got to win, man. I do love Keith Lee. I love Ciampa. I love all them, but I got to go with the Undisputed Era. I'm sorry. And people are predicting that special opponent might be CM Punk, which I highly doubt, but we'll see. My winner is the Undisputed Era. And then finally, we do have the Women's War Games match, which consists of the team of Shayna Baszler, Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, and Bianca Belair. In their verse, Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Mia Young, and Tegan Knox. I said this from the door. I know they're doing it for the story and all that, but Baszler and Ripley should be on the same fucking team. It makes no sense that Ripley's is the leader of the good people. She's a kick-ass heel, and that chick's going to be huge. But I got to go with Shayna Baszler. People are saying Baszler's team won't win because Baszler's going to win that triple threat match she's in tomorrow, which we'll get to. And Rhea Ripley is being pushed big time. Actually, Rhea Ripley's team will win this match, but I'm going with Shayna Baszler's. Johnny Gargano took to Twitter, and he said it's the first NXT pay-per-view that he's missed since 2016 due to injury. Survivor Series predictions. Survivor Series is on tomorrow night. We do have a champion versus champion versus champion match. It is a tag team match with the War Raiders versus the New Day versus the Undisputed Era. My choice, of course, the Undisputed Era. Undisputed is my favorite, so if they're in a match, pretty much I'm picking them to win. Don't get it fucked up. Champion versus champion versus champion match. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura with that sweet new Intercontinental Champion he was given last night. That belt is fucking pimp. Versus Roderick Strong. I'm going with, of course, Roderick Strong. You people that might not know Roderick Strong, yo, go back to his shit on the independent circuit, Ring of Honor. That dude is a fucking beast. He is the man. We also have Team Raw, which is the captain Seth Rollins, his team Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Ricochet, and Randy Orton, versus Team SmackDown with their captain Roman Reigns, Mustafa Ali, Braun Strowman, King Corbin, and Shorty G. I gotta go with Team Raw, man. I mean, please. They got such a better team, but they're probably gonna lose, but I'm sticking with Team Raw. Next, we have champion versus champion versus champion, which is the female match. We have Becky Lynch, a.k.a. The Man, Bayley, and Shayna Baszler. I'm going with Shayna Baszler, man. I think after this NXT pay-per-view, she's going to pretty much be getting transferred over to the main roster. She'll still be on NXT long enough to lose her title, but she's going up. She's getting called up. But Shayna Baszler has to win. WWE Championship match. Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio. It's great. They're letting Rey be in the main event. He deserves it. Blah, 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 yada, yada. But Brock is going to fucking destroy him. Brock Lesnar. And finally, the Universal Championship match, which is The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. The Fiend's going to win. Daniel Bryan is amazing. I would love to see these two fight again, like in WrestleMania or SummerSlam next year. But The Fiend just got the fucking belt. He's the hottest fucking wrestler in wrestling right now. There's no way he's going to lose it. Not unless it's a disqualification or some shit like that. But The Fiend, in some type of way, will retain his title. Your winner, The Fiend. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for the two pay-per-views for the next two nights. Let's get to some WWE news. Bruce Pritchard, the man in charge of SmackDown, the one who backdoored Bischoff to get his job. I got a story about Pritchard. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Sam Norton podcast. 2 SummerSlams ago, my daughter and I went to his live show at Caroline. They had Bruce Pritchard on. Bruce Pritchard was drunk as a fucking skunk. He's got a girlfriend who's like 30 years old. She's pretty much his only and biggest fan. Cackling, clapping, and anything he says. He was so fucking pissy drunk. The man is a legend. He's got great stories, don't get me wrong. But he commandeered more than half the fucking show, and he was just so belligerent. It was horrible. But anyway, this is a great, like I said, he has great stories. This is a great story that Bruce Pritchard told about Macho Man leaving for WCW. I think that Randy was a special talent. He had a special bond with Vince at the time, and that was unique. You know, like Hulk Hogan did. Only a handful of those top guys were close with Vince like that. So when the phone call came in, I think that was it. The first one was that Randy had to get drunk to call Vince and tell him. Vince didn't want to talk to him while he'd been drinking and told him to call the next day. And when he did, that was the day of Monday Night Raw, the morning of. And that's when Randy told him he was going to WCW. And Vince was not happy because of all that. Randy always said to Vince that, "I won't do you like Hogan, brother. I'll be that guy. I'll be your Babe Ruth. I'll always be there." It was a horrible Macho Man impression. Then out of the blue, with no indication on our end, Vince wanted to make Randy an employee, like of the company, besides wrestling when it was over with the Durham, bring him backstage, give him more money, offered him a lot of other things. And out of the blue, "Yeah, I'm going to WCW." And he had to have several beers to even call Vince to tell him that. And that kind of upset Vince as well. So yeah, it was hurtful. It really hurt him. According to a report for the Wrestling Observer, Samoa Joe's work on commentary this Monday on Raw drew high praise from WWE's officials. They felt his interaction with Jerry Lawler was excellent. As previously reported, Dio Madden is off of WWE television in order to sell that attack from Brock Lesnar a couple of weeks ago. Well, so Samoa Joe right now is suffering from a broken thumb, so he's recovering. He will be returning into ring in action once his thumb heals. It should also be noted that Jerry Lawler's return has been well received backstage. WWE officials feel he's been delivering better than expected, and he has helped Vic Joseph get the rhythm of Raw commentary down. The only thing Lawler has been told is to stay away from the dated cultural references. Yo, I agree 120%. It's great to have him here. You need to have him here, especially the to go against fucking JR over on AEW and Tony Schiavone. But those old puns he uses are so stale and they are garbage. So if he does curb that, he'll be all right. Well, it's been all over the internet that the Hulkster wants to get back into the ring for a final match. This is what he himself had to say and who he wants to face in it. I've been talking to Vince McMahon. History is very important to me. I had a very long career, and part of my career was with a very, very small company and a very gracious lady named Dixie Carter at TNA. I actually had my last match there. That's hard for me to live with. I want my last match to be in the WWE. I've been pushing and negotiating very hard, and I'm getting very, very healthy again. I'm in good shape. I'm in a little bit under 300 pounds, maybe 295, and I'm getting ready. I'm going to have one little teeny surgery on my back. It'll take me a couple months to recover, but I got my eyes focused on WrestleMania, brother, and on who we'd like to face. The one I love to get in the ring with, if I had only one person, it would be Vince McMahon. I'm very sick of his stuff. That's good stuff. Well, it looks like Brock Lesnar has not changed much backstage. Tyson Fury's brother, who was with him when he was on the whole WWE run, one of their members of the team had an altercation with Brock, and this is what Fury's brother had to say. The guy's name was Tim Allock. He's part of Fury's team. He stared at Lesnar backstage, and Brock said, "What are you looking at?" Tim said, what do you mean, what am I looking at? What do you want to fight or something? Come on, then. And then a complaint was actually made about what Tim did to Brock. I did report that Oney Lorcan asked for his WWE/NXT release. He has been denied for now, but he did not take too kindly how Triple H handled it when he was addressed by it on the NXT interview they did. He said in those situations, the promoter and the talent should have a private conversation behind closed doors. The promoter should not bury the talent on nationwide TV and social media. I have to agree. And finally, for WWE news, it looks like 205 Live might have finally gotten the axe. There's been talk about it. They're supposed to go to NXT, the main roster, what have you. But usually it's taped after SmackDown and premieres last night on Friday night, and it was actually canceled. So expect a lot of those stars to be showing up on other shows. All right, peeps, to close out the show, we do have an update on the Jim Cornette situation. We know that he made a racist comment while he was on commentary for Tuesday's episode of NWA Power, and he did resign over it. But Jim Cornette has a very big podcast, which was on Friday night, and he gave his point of view. Like I say, to every story, there are always three sides to a story. Both sides and the truth. He's claiming it was a joke. He said some people that live under a rock may not have been bombarded by this, may not actually know what the fucking uproar was about. It was because during a match between Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis, I used a joke that I first coined for Big Bubba Rogers. Dick Murdoch is so tough, he could strap a bucket of fried chicken on his back and ride a motor scooter across Ethiopia. That's what happened. This is why I broke Twitter again. I told a 30-year-old Ethiopian joke about starvation. About him talking to Dave Lagana about it. So right, as I was trying to digest all this, the phone rings. It's 8:30 in the morning, and it's David Lagana. I said, what the fuck is going on? And he tells me that, obviously, the All Elite Wrestling cosplay wrestling fanboy girl contingent immediately after the show started tweeting about this and creating an uproar, like I've been describing my favorite bestiality videos on a fucking live broadcast. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a joke. We get it. He's told it before for 30 fucking years. It's about hungry people or Big Bubba, or in this case, Trevor Murdoch. So at any rate, Dave is just talking about, well, an apology and a statement and this and that. Then he talked about the show being taped and him not agreeing with NWA's handling of it. In this case, I said, David, this was a taped show. What did you think about it when you heard it? Well, it went right past me, he said. And he also talked about it being taped. He was talking to Dave Lagana, and he's like, Dave, this show was taped. You guys had to edit it. You produced it. You approved it for the air. You heard the comment. What did you think about it when you heard it, when you were editing it or viewing it before you put it out? And finally, he talked about if he really resigned or fired. He said Lagana didn't even get a chance to fire him if he was going to. He said they were talking and he was listening, and I said, fuck it. It ain't fun anymore. You want this? I don't want this, and I'm fucking sick of it. I'm done, and I hung up on him. And that's how it ended from Jim Cornette's point of view. All right, peeps. Well, that's it for now. I got to do this video for you guys, get it set up, yada, yada. We got a big wrestling weekend coming up, so you got to check all that out. I will have the results for all of these on the podcast, because I like to get this to you guys in time, you know what I mean, or right after. And there's no way I have enough time to edit these videos after NXT, after Survivor Series. By then, it'll be the next day or 10 hours later, and you guys already fucking know, and you won't even care. So definitely check out the podcast, because that's where everything will be on it. And it's the AEW Insider on all podcasting platforms, Facebook and YouTube, and AEW Insider 1 on Twitter. Check out our YouTube videos, man. I got so much content on there, it's not even funny. I released part 2 of our top holiday videos. I got an entertainment show, this wrestling show. There's good stuff, so show it some support. So anyway, peeps, we will be back. I'll be back in a couple of days with a Movies and More episode, but definitely check out the podcast because I put shows up all the time if you want to keep up on the latest wrestling news and rumors. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for the YouTube edition of the AEW Insider. Ciao, peeps.